Yeah, so we have actually seen for quite some time now that financial markets have outperformed what we consider the fundamental background, and it has been very much related to the stimulus coming, especially from the central banks. But what has been delivered hasn't been sufficient to reduce the uncertainty in the economy. And what monetary and fiscal policy cannot do is to reduce the infection. And the infection fear is crucial for when the economy is reopened, because if there is still a fear of infection, that will put a lid on how strong the recovery can be. So these are obviously positive news from also an economic perspective.
Clearly, the health concerns are dominant, but what about the amount of stimulus Europe is now looking at? Because it felt as though the Americans came up with the CARES Act, the first package, contemplating a second package and a whole bunch of measures from the Fed as well. But when it comes to Europe, there's been arguing over the type of rescue fund. And what we heard yesterday, a Franco-German initiative to effectively come up with 500 billion euros in a recovery fund. And most of that expected to be in grants to various countries and regions in the European zone. What do you make of those sorts of initiatives and whether they can make a difference?
So it's positive, the news we have had on the Franco-German proposal here. Of course, it's still not fully completed. We have to get the rest of the EU to support it. But one of the things that is important is this fiscal transfer that is now being acknowledged as being important. You're saying that it's grant and not loans. That is also important. And the joint issuance is very important. So these things follow a time where Europe has been struggling. We had the German Constitutional Court challenging the ECB very recently, and our European economists said that that was happening at the worst possible time. So it's good with some positive news for Europe. And yes, US also need to do more in order to close the gap that is closing from the losses during the crisis.